Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah, I'm done with that. Okay, so, hi. Welcome to Desperate House Witches. Y'all thought you were done with me. I have been away for a while. It has been interesting. Let's get to it. Okay, so Desperate House Witches is not a G, PG, or even an R-rated show. So, if bad language, bodily functions, dirty talk of any kind might offend you, you in the wrong place, folks. Because you don't know what this place is about, if that's what's going to offend you. Because we have some shit to talk about. I swear like a sailor, if that's bothersome, that's going to be some tough shit. You're not going to make it through this hour. Okay, so some shit went down. Some technical difficulties went down. A whole bunch of fucking trees and mountainsides went down. Florida got flooded, not once but twice. The mountains, I don't know what the fuck. We lost all kinds of shit in the mountains here in North Carolina. It's election season. The last time we talked, I told you that if we all agreed to do the same thing, we liberals were going to win. I don't care what the fucking polls say. I'm going to tell you right now. Well, first let me get to a couple of matters of business. Okay. Programming note. If I book you for this show, because I wanted to have you on and you can't remember to write that shit down, Buttercup, that's on you. I've been doing this for 13 years. If you can't remember to write down that you're supposed to be on with me, that's too bad. I'm not your mama. I ain't your secretary. If you have problems remembering shit, you need a big calendar, or you need to tell your publicist to remind you. I got a day job. I work full time. I got a family. I got shit going. I'm planning a fucking wedding. I have fucking neurospicy shit of my own I'm on medication for. We all got to do our part. I put your shit down in my calendar so that I remember we have an appointment, but aside from that, I'm working my ass off every day, sometimes 10 and 12 hours. So if you're important to me, hopefully I'm important to you. If not, that's cool. No harm, no foul. Just don't wonder why you're not being asked on for 2 years in a row. Other people are waiting their turn. Okay. Desperate House Witches is brought to you by the amazingly wicked one, the incredible Dorothy Morrison. Please check out www.dorothymorrison.com for all things Dorothy Morrison. You know, she fucking sold out on her October Halloween mystery boxes in 10 hours or 2 days or something crazy. Like, her mystery packages were up and then gone. Like, I didn't even have time.
I got one.
Oh, man. I was so pissed because I didn't even have time to talk about them on a fucking show, and the shit was already sold out. I think it was like 48 hours. I was like, you must be kidding me. 48 hours.
I got one.
Gone. Lucky. Anyway, so it's been crazy. There's been a lot of family shit going down. There's been a lot of weather shit going down. Blog Talk Radio's been down. I was supposed to talk to Deborah Blake the other day. Blog Talk Radio didn't want to fucking work. But that's going to be rescheduled. I've got a lot. You thought you were going to get to this election without me? All kinds of prayer. We are doing 3 sets of election shows. Allison Govan is going to be on with me. Starbucks Tremonte and I are doing the 415, 3 415s in a fucking row. We are not letting this shit go. We are out here to get it fucking done. We are not going to let the fucking Republicans, specifically the MAGAs, get the fucking White House back again. We are done with this bullshit. We are done with Trump. The shit that's coming out is unfucking believable. We had a Trump household moving down the street. They put up something so big that it covers the front of their house because everybody else on this street is a fucking liberal. So now I have to figure out how to hook this little device up to my phone so I can put it on blast when we walk by. So I suggest we all get one of these, that every time you see a Trumper, You let them know how you sell. That's my gadget of the week. With me, as always, for my birthday show, because you know I have to have my birthday show, is my friend, my ride or die, the amazing Dr. DEBRA BURRIS, author, teacher, witch, creatrix, master manipulator of amazing bones and bone work. She's just a phenomenal artist, a phenomenal teacher, a phenomenal writer. You do all the fucking things now. Stories of the Bones is a wonderful place where she puts up her artwork. Stop laughing at me, goddammit. I've known
that
this
just makes
lady
me
for
laugh
a long
harder.
time now, and she's really incredible, and I'm so glad that the world is starting to experience her incredibleness. Say hello to the people, Deborah.
Hello, people. I'm telling you what, I live in MAGA Central over here, but even this year, I'm not seeing either they're too embarrassed to be voting for him or they're changing their minds. But I tell you what, I believe that there is some mental issues going on with some of these people. I hate to say that, but they're in a farting cult. I mean, and they don't even see it. It's like when my mama used to send Oral Roberts all her money to build his school because he dreamed a 900-foot Jesus told him he would die if he didn't build Oral Roberts University. I mean, it's that level. Yeah, yep. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I honestly, okay, well, there are so many things that I don't understand about this, and I consider myself to be a fairly logical human being, but people around here who are like, oh, he's the Christ-like, he's so Christian. I'm like, what part of him is Christian? My left ass cheek is more Christian than he is. What in the hell are these people thinking? I mean, I cannot understand it. Can you?
Well,
I mean, I don't get it.
I do actually, because the GOP was taught over the last 40 years that if you say Jesus, people will stop, and people who don't want to read or don't have the time to read, or people who are downtrodden in so many other ways, if you can convince them that you speak for God, they will shut up and listen to you, and they will do what they are told. It's not because they are necessarily stupid. They're not stupid people, but they are people that want to believe so much in heaven and hell that they are willing to suspend reality in order to get there. My mother was one of these people. My mother has been a very well-educated person. But when these people hear Jesus, everything else goes out. All logic goes out the window. And I was raised by these people, so I get it. I mean, and it's unfortunate because when you lose the ability to critically think for yourself, you put all your blame and trust and hope and fear away from yourself. You abdicate personal responsibility, and it's a very seductive thing to not have to be responsible. So it basically turns people into lazy people because, you know, life's hard anyway. And if you can take some of that burden off, if somebody comes and says, we're going to do all that thinking for you, we're going to tell you how to vote, we're going to tell you who to support, we're going to tell you what's good and what's bad. Some people's lives are hard enough that they want that kind of pressure relief, and a cult can build itself. If you give people enough reason to want to believe, if you tell them that they're loved no matter what, that they're forgiven no matter what, if you give them that kind of backup and emotional support, they do want to believe. So I do understand how it starts, and I do understand how once you've gotten somebody with all of that love and support, that you can convince them to do almost anything and make them believe almost anything. Because certainly, if you've given them all this love and support, you would never do anything to hurt them, which is how cults get started. I mean, and that's what they're all involved in. And it's a shame because a lot of these people are very intelligent, but they're, you know, listen, like I said, life is hard. It sucks. And
no, but I mean, I have seen I mean, I guess I just am flabbergasted at people who will so clearly vote against their own best interests.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've been told.
People, right. Yeah. Well, all they need to do is be told. Listen, I told you 1,001 times, when someone tells you that facts don't matter, what they now refer to as sane washing, you know, there's no conversation left. There's nothing else to say, because you can hit somebody with so many facts. You can show them videotape. You can make them listen to audio tape. They don't care. That no longer matters. When reason is lost and people are lost, when words have no meaning, nothing has any meaning, and all they want to do is believe what they believe, and it's very hard to admit you're wrong, which scares me. A person who can't say that they're wrong and they're sorry, those people are the ones who scare me. You know, my father was that kind of person. He never admitted being wrong. And there's no such thing as a perfect person. So people who never admit being wrong, I'm afraid of those people. Those are some fucking weird ass shit people. But so I guess I'm scared of them, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I here's my thing. You know, I am concerned about what happens. I mean, I pray to all the gods who are listening, whoever they may be, and how that we have a blue wave. That people, especially younger people, are so tired of, and I get it. There isn't a perfect candidate. I'm not looking to marry one of these people. I am getting on a bus that is going in the direction that I want this country to go. And this idea of holding out for your perfect candidate, you might as well just forget it, because it's not happening. And that's the thing. And these people have clearly never watched The West Wing, because you can't. To be able to function as a country, we can't have the idealist's idealism, right? There has to be some practicality in there as well. But I have looked at people and I'm like, if you vote this way for him, then I'm done with you, because what you are voting for is hate and anti-science and this mob mentality. I mean, I honestly think that some of the people believe that they'll just be able to go down the street and shoot marginalized populations with impunity. I think I'm using that word right. I'm a physicist. I don't know. But they can just do whatever they want. And I'm just like, I really honestly believe that, because I'm in this Facebook group, and I've pretty much sworn off of Facebook until after the election is over. But I'm in this Facebook called Arkansas Blue Dots, because we're a pretty red state, but there are a lot of us in this state. We're just kind of spread out. But this woman said she was sitting parked reading an owner's manual for her new car. She has a Harris Walls sticker on her car. A man drove up behind her in a really large truck, crossways, blocked her in the space, and came up and started yelling and screaming at her, and then got back in his truck, purposely opened his truck door in such a way that it slammed into her new vehicle, and drove off. That's the kind of agency these people believe that they have, right? So she got his license plate number. I don't know that anything will come of it, but she got his license plate number, and but that's the kind of agency these people think they have, and it will only. I don't know if it's going to get worse if he wins, or if it's going to be worse if he doesn't. Right? I honestly don't know, but all I know is these people honestly believe that they are the chosen people, and that and I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying a lot of them think that, and that they can act however they want to act, and treat however, and abuse whoever they want to abuse, and they are fine. And I'm not okay with that.
I'm not either. I'm not okay with it either because they lie. Everything they accuse liberals of, they're doing themselves, and it's just astounding to me how they think we're not noticing. What scares me is we understand. We've been around long enough that we remember actual facts. We remember the lies. We remember seeing the lies. We remember watching the videos. We've experienced how Trump will say one thing one day and something else the next day. For example, we've just seen a video on which he was speaking to a gentleman on Univision, and in the same breath said that someone had died and that same person had not died. All in one breath, all in one sentence, even.
Yeah.
And a woman reacting, shaking her head like, huh? Like, we understand that he lied. There's a group of people coming up behind us, younger folks, who are going to have a blurrier memory, who may not have access to the videos and the recordings that we have because he will look to wipe these things out. So, over time, memories, when you share enough lies, your memories become a little more fuzzy. And I'm just concerned.
It may be that, it may be that, I'm just going to say, they don't have to have a long memory to see him lie. They can look yesterday or last week or 2 days ago or whenever. He can't open his mouth without lying.
I know.
It is.
I know.
I don't understand it. And the thing is too that we've had this uptick in protesters at events, right? And I'm getting ready. I'm getting geared up to go to our little local hometown, have their first Pride event in June. And I will tell you, when I say my little hometown showed up and showed out, I was so proud of how many people that were there. And considering it was planned in less than a week, and I really didn't know what was about to happen. But there were several hundred people there, and I was really proud. And I tell you, one of the proudest things was there was a handful of protesters there. The Episcopal Church choir showed up, fully decked out in their Pride Month gear, stood between those protesters and the event and sang so long and so loud that those people packed up and left.
Nice.
And, that's the kind of, I guess that's the whole killing them with kindness thing. But these people, honestly, if they were, here's the thing. If they had honestly been interested in saving the souls of anyone there, they were not. They were just interested in telling us what pieces of garbage we were and what trash we were. We had the same thing happen in Enchanted at June, had the same thing going on at Nashville Pagan Pride, earlier this month. These people don't have the love of their Christ in them. They're just out there spewing venom and hate and being self-important. That's all they're doing.
Yep.
And it's bled over into these people who think they can pull up behind a stranger and slam into their car. Anyway, I totally appreciate what you're saying about the younger people, but it's the people that are my age that I can't stand.
It's not about whether or not we can stand them. It's about what the future holds for folks who don't necessarily have our memory of what's gone on before now. And I am concerned because people's memories can be gently shifted and changed, and I find it very frightening because I see it happening. So, my mother, who was obviously an older person when she passed, she was never a person who would disagree about facts. And then all of a sudden, facts don't matter. It's like, Pastor, have you lost your fucking mind? Really?
Yeah.
It's terrifying to watch.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that's a scary fucking moment. So I just want people to understand that, you know, I'm very excited. I think we're going to win this. I think that the margins are larger. I think a lot of people are not willing to say that they're going to vote for her, especially Republicans. I think the public Republicans who have come out to support her, I don't think it's enough for folks in their own homes necessarily to feel comfortable enough to say they're going to vote for her. But I think a lot of people are sick of Trump. I think a lot of the older folks are still going to support him because, let's face it, she's a black woman. She's a black woman, and people can't handle it. They couldn't handle a black man. What makes you think they're going to handle a black woman? I mean, and this is the kind of bullshit that needs to die off. You know what? We're a melting pot. Fucking melt already. We're here, man. Let it happen. You're going away. Everybody else isn't. So you're going to have to get used to it. The world is not going back to the 50s, nor should it. We need our rights back. We need people. We need culture. We need different cultures. We need to learn different ways because I'm just going to say, we ain't got a lot of it, white people. We need help. We need some. We need some culture and we need some help. And quite frankly,
and we need some empathy and some kindness and some, you know, understanding that we're not the master race. And that's the shit that I see going on around here. I mean, you know, I live down the road up the road from a bona fide flag-flying Aryan Nation meeting house for a while.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, you people. And nobody did anything. I mean, I'm just like, hello, is somebody going to do something about that? You know, and I mean, it was like, I was like, this is what we're doing now, is it? I mean, I literally drove up in the front yard of the man who was renting them the house where they had the Nazi flag and the Christian flag flying on the same flagpole. And I drove up in that man's front yard, and I said, how does that work? Because at the time, they were staying in the house directly across the road from him. What this fine specimen of a human has done is he has bought up all these little houses along the side of the mountain I live on, and he rents them out to people who are getting housing assistance. And he doesn't do anything to improve them. He just
He doesn't do anything, just collects the money.
Yeah, and he, you know, him being a fine deacon in the church up the road, I drove up in his yard and I said, what is that? How is that okay right there? And he looked at me and he said, what do you mean? I said, that is a effing Nazi flag flying at the top of the flagpole and then your Christian flag, the symbol of your faith, being paired with it. How are you okay with that? How are those two things compatible? And he just looked at me, and I finally just said, look, Jesus don't want you for a sunbeam, and I drove away. But the thing is there was a family of children of color living in the house next door to that, and they had to get off the school bus every day and see that fucking Aryan Nation flag flying on that flagpole. And finally, that house burned magically. Or not, I don't know. I have no knowledge of why it burned. And then, you know, they moved down the hill to another house. And the house that they moved into, it always infuriated me because the elderly couple that I knew when I was growing up that lived there were Jewish. And they moved into that house. And I thought, they are rolling over in their grave right now, like spinning like a drill bit in a drill. Because those people have moved into their house. And, you know, they're not there anymore. Some things happened and it involved a lot of unmarked black Suburbans. So I'm sure we won't see them for 5 to 10 years. But at any rate, you know, I'm just like, why do we live in a fucking world where it is okay to fly a Nazi flag so proudly? I want these people to have some shame. Yeah. Oh, I know. I know why. I mean, I'm saying that.
Possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
but
I know.
I mean,
and it just seems.
one person.
Yeah.
You know, I was having this conversation today about how, you know, because people just randomly ask me, it's like, how did we get here? And I'm like, because one toddler, this is what happens when you don't control the toddler. Toddler free reign, because you think it's the golden child who's going to give you everything you want. And you just pat the child on the head and you tell the child he's special and loved and he's the answer to all of your prayers. Well, the child grows up to
and then you
that.
find you're in a remake of The Omen.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
But, well, yeah, I mean, I understand how it got. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but he turns everything. I mean, he was the Pentecostal dream. He was going to overturn Roe v. Wade. Well, he did that, but that wasn't enough. That was not enough. The child wants more power, and now the child is unstoppable. And friggin' Mitch McConnell. You've heard the reports now where Mitch McConnell says he's pretty much a despicable person, and it's like, but you're still supporting him, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, and we were having this conversation last night, well, who's worse, Trump or Mitch McConnell? And I said, obviously Mitch McConnell, because Trump is just being Trump. Mitch McConnell knows better and is still enabling. Therefore, Mitch McConnell is the worst person.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Because they, you know, if you are, I mean, Trump is just this disabled, diminished piece of shit.
Isn't there a Studio Ghibli cartoon where there's a giant baby and they just keep feeding it and feeding it and feeding it, and their whole existence becomes about feeding this giant baby? I feel like we're in that movie.
We are. It's sad and scary, but it's really, listen, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
It's scary out here. But
here's
really
what I can't stand.
You know, tell me.
Oh, go ahead.
Tell me.
No, well, what I can't stand, though, is the infighting, right? Okay, so this week, I just have examples from this week because this is part of the reason why I've decided to take a social media hiatus. I'm still posting from my business page, and I'm still, you know, I'll still get on there every once, but I'm not looking at anything. So let me give you some concrete examples from this week. So we, within our alternative communities, right, whether we're witches or we're queer people or we're whatever, when we start infighting, that's when they get us. Right? We start infighting. So what I've seen this week is this competition bullshit. Okay, so I live in a fairly small populated area. There is a couple of metaphysical shops. This person has moved into the area and has opened a crystal shop, and that's great, and I'm glad. But she has no interest in collaborating with anyone. She flat out told anybody who does the same things that she does, sells crystals, does Reiki, whatever, that she is in competition with them and she has no interest in collaboration.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, well, you probably won't be here very long then. Because, you know, but here's the thing to me. I was just at a fair, you know, this last weekend because somehow my side hustle is now turning into more of a hustle. And I've been doing some metaphysical fairs. I've been doing some metaphysical fairs, and one of the points that the person who organized the fair is there is abundance enough. Let us ask that there be abundance enough for everyone, that we are not in competition with each other in this room, right? And I kind of look at my local community that way. We have got to learn a spirit of collaboration. You are not the queen of the tarot or the queen of the Reiki or the queen of the crystals, and you're the only one that gets to do that. My whole thing is I want everyone to be able to have knowledge and experience and talent and manifest what they want to manifest and learn to use their intuitive gifts or whatever. I can't stand this idea of there's only room. We're not the fucking Highlander. We're not trying to, there can be only one shit here. It just makes me nuts. That's one example. The next example is, and I was telling you about this before we went on air, I follow a horse rescue. And this horse rescue works to get horses out of the slaughter pipeline. And, you know, I raise beef cattle. I eat beef. I'll be the first to admit that I eat meat. I hunt. I work with dead animal parts. But what I can't stand is for people to shirk their responsibility. Like the example that I can't stand was there was a summer camp. We all probably went to summer camp when we were kids, and there was a stable of horses there that you rode, and the camp closed, and they sold all those horses to slaughter. So there's a pen full of 25, 30-year-old horses who have known nothing but bringing children joy. And because these people that own this camp could not be bothered to find them good homes, they just went, fuck it, we're going to chunk them. Same thing with all these work horses that people are like, oh, I can't be bothered. Same thing with race horses. Oh, I can't be bothered. I'm not going to make any effort. Okay, that, you know, I mean, I understand that people eat horse meat in other countries, and that's their culture, and that's fine. And if you raise those animals to be eaten, then so be it. But if you toss away a horse that has lived and worked for you for 30 fucking years, and you can't be bothered to find that horse a home or to humanely euthanize that horse, you are a piece of fucking garbage. And I can't stand that. So I've been watching. I'm sorry. This is really a hot button for me. I'm sorry, but I've been watching this rescue busting their ass to try to save. Yesterday, they raised enough money to get 60 horses out of that facility. There were 54 left today, and they were doing their damnedest to get them out. And other people started coming into their lives and started calling the owner of the facility and got them shut down where they could not go in there and save the last of those horses. So in their arrogance, because these people were doing better than them, they are going to cost those horses their lives because they can't stand to not be competitive. That's my, and then I've seen just so many examples this week of how people, their competitive nature is just ugly beyond my comprehension. And I can't stand that. I cannot fucking stand that shit. You know, I'm sorry, but if my neighbor's doing better than me, good for them. But I'm not going to destroy them so that I can do better, because am I really doing better if I destroy them? If I'm pushing them down to push myself up, I'm not really doing better. You know, but pagan events are like that. I've seen too much infighting in these different communities that, well, I'm the authority on this. Well, you are an authority on that, but you're not the authority on that. Shut your ass up and sit down.
Really, I know.
I can't stand that. It's just, that's just a pet peeve that I've had, and thank you for letting me rant about that for 10 solid minutes, but it just makes me nuts.
But I don't blame you for it making you nuts, because quite frankly, there's no reason for that. There's no reason for people to act that way. It's not a fucking pie. We've talked about that before. You know, there's no reason for anybody to try to stop anybody else from making a living. Or, especially a rescue. Come on, a rescue? The whole point is to be collaborative. That's the kind of shit I really don't understand, especially when it's supposed to be in service to these animals that have given so much of their lives.
Well, I have my theory. A lot of my theories is it's because it's run by a lesbian couple, and they don't like that. Huh. But, they are transparent as they can be about where the money goes and how the animals are cared for. And, I have watched them now the last probably 2 weeks get over 200 horses out of the slaughter pipeline.
Wow.
And these were horses that were someone's, there were fucking little ponies, kids' ponies in there, because, little Prissy Pants McGee probably outgrew her pony, and instead of trying to find it a home, or maybe, hey, just letting it, I mean, I understand that sometimes shit happens and you can't hang on to your animals. I get that. But that was not the case in this case of these camps and these things like this. This is just, I don't want to be bothered. You know, I can't mess with this. You know, I just saw a thing on TikTok, not TikTok. I follow them. Yeah, it is on TikTok. There's a TikToker called Don't Cross a Gay Man. And he is really, yes. Well, I don't know if you saw his latest one about the dog that he found.
Yeah.
This person dumped a dog.
And he went in on this person. Go ahead, you tell it. You tell it. He went in on this person, though. Go ahead.
Well, what happened, because what happened was she had this dog. Well, the dog was being surrendered at a shelter. And she said, no, give the dog to me. Well, then she had the dog, and then she decided the dog wasn't soothing her stress enough, so she drove far away from her neighborhood and tied the dog, or let the dog loose in an affluent neighborhood far away from her, thinking, okay, maybe I'm not going to be bothered with this dog, but somebody will take it. I'm going to make it. And then he finds out who has it. He goes through all the rigmarole to figure out who had the dog. And the woman messages him, going, oh, thank God, I'm so glad you have her. I just couldn't be bothered to take care of her anymore. And, I mean, he went off. He went off on this lady. And, you know, it's just like the person who fucking tied their dog to a fence before Hurricane Milton gets to Florida, hoping the dog would drown because he didn't want the dog anymore. And a state trooper, thankfully, drove by and saw the dog and saved it. And the dog was microchipped. So they figured out who did that. And I hope that stuck. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of severe punishment for people like that. You know, people that mistreat animals can get away with it. But, I mean, you know, I have very strong feelings about what should happen to people like that, and that involve fire ants and honey. You know, so.
Yikes! But
yeah. Well, you know, but yeah, that I just don't understand I realize people like that have always been with us, but it seems of late that is becoming much more common and acceptable behavior in the world, to have no fucking empathy, to have no consideration for anyone outside of yourself. And when did that become okay? Well, I know when that became okay. Never mind. I know when that became normalized. It has everything to do with the 2016 election. But anyway.
Well, and some people
your birthday rant show, and I'm ranting, sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. I mean, that's why I have you on to rant with me. But some people just have no fucking sense, you know, and that's the thing, too, where people just don't have any fucking sense. And I don't know how one of the things about being from New York used to be our great education system, and I have sadly come to find out that the great education we used to get in New York is no longer the case, and I was quite surprised at that. That's something that New Yorkers used to pride themselves on, and it's like, really? Now, obviously, I haven't been in a part of the New York education system in 40 years, so I've missed out on a few things apparently. But when I hear shit like, "Oh, please, it's starting to rival Alabama," I'm like, excuse me, why? So, yeah, apparently shit has gone down and things have been missed, and New York is not the great center of the universe that I used to think it was, and that makes me a little sad, I must say. But apparently that's the way shit goes. And, you know.
Well, I think it was a long game, right? I think it's a long game because people that are not educated are easier to control.
And it's
so
working.
There is
and that's
a
what
long game being played here. Yeah.
I agree. And it's scary because it's working. And when you keep people from being educated, they are easier to control. Again, it goes back to the whole religion thing. It goes back to the whole, well, we'll interpret God for you because, as one of the mysteries of life, that's how they keep you down. That's how they interpret things for you, so you don't have to. Mm-hmm. That's the whole great game about religion. And you're busy. We'll handle this. Don't you worry.
We'll take care of you. We'll take care.
We'll take care of you. Yes, we'll take care of you. Isn't that something? How frightening is that? Telling you.
Oh yeah.
How they do it.
Yeah.
How they fucking do it. It's amazing to me that intelligent people, intelligent in business, intelligent in all areas of their life except religion. Why is that the one place we stop asking fucking questions?
Because they're afraid. They've been taught that questioning it is wrong. I mean, I was raised up, you were raised up probably in a way at some point in your life where if you ask too many questions, you got a smack. And, we weren't supposed to ask too many questions because this is authority. This is God's authority. Well, that's the first thing. The first thing that I learned in my training when I went into the trad training with Marla, question everything. Question everything. And, that's the thing. You are not to question. In the way I was raised in this church, and I'm gesturing in a direction that no one can see, but the church I was drugged to as a child is literally adjacent to the property I live on. And you did not ask, women especially were not meant to make a peep. We were not meant to question anything that was said, anything that was done. We just accepted it and moved on.
Yeah.
And, that's why. I mean, that's where it comes from, is we were conditioned because when you have people afraid, if they it's a fear-based thing. If you act too independently, your immortal soul will burn in hell for all eternity. Well, they ain't going to ask no questions now, are they?
No. And,
they don't want
Just listening to you say that puts me, because I've wondered why my mother became a pastor, and I got to say, listening to you say that, I think it was the only way my mother was going to get any respect was to become a pastor too, because I think she was already sick of being ruled over by my old man, and the only way she was going to be able to even have anything of a footing was to become a pastor too. So I think that was probably her only way of standing up for herself, as sad as it was, because obviously it didn't do anything. But I think that's probably why, because she was a very go along to get along. Although I don't understand, it's not like he was contributing that much to anything. He was just one of these women that, if she didn't have a man, she could not make it. She would not make it. She did not try to make it. It's fascinating. But women of that age were very powerful when they were younger, and they just did not know it. I guess men had them so bamboozled that they would just believe whatever they were told. I find that fascinating because I didn't believe shit.
Yeah. And I got into trouble a lot at that church. Trust and believe. I got into trouble a lot.
Oh, yeah. But, we've only got a few minutes left, so I want you to tell the people what you think about the election, what you want them to think about when they go into that voting booth.
What I want y'all to think about is I understand that the Democratic ticket is not probably your perfect person. This is not a marriage proposal. This is a train ticket, getting us going in the direction we need this country to go. Do I wish that we had more than two parties? Yes, I do. The reality of it is we do not. If it goes the way of him, we as a country are fucked. people that I love and care about will be hunted, I fear, like animals. I mean, I don't give a shit if that's not your perfect candidate up there on the Democratic ticket. If the Republicans win, we are done. We will not be able to voice dissent. We will not be able to practice our religion openly anymore. If you are queer, you will be targeted. If you are educated, you will be targeted. If you are a person of brown skin, you will be targeted. If you love or care about any of those people, I'm sorry, but there is only one choice here. And I know it may not be the one you like, perfect, but if you stay home, you are complicit. So for the love of all there is, this planet, queer people, the environment, the ability to practice our religion openly and freely and go to events like Mystic South, we cannot let him win. We cannot let him win. And that's it. I don't know what else to say. I'm not sugarcoating. I'm not being sweet. I'm not being nice. But I'm here to tell you, if he wins, we're fucked.
Well,
that's all
I'm
I got to say.
I'm going to add on to that. It's not just about our religion. It's not just about skin color. He has named anyone who doesn't agree with him as an enemy of the state. The enemy within. I know you've all heard him say that. That includes me. That includes everyone like me. That includes anyone who does not agree with him. Tell you, that's more than half of the country. He is not above using the military as a weapon against our own people in this country. I know you think that's hyperbole. I know a lot of you think that that's just fear-mongering. It's not. We already saw what he did with Roe v. Wade. Nobody wanted to believe, because it was settled law, that he would undo it. He undid it, okay? Yeah. That's just the beginning. Project 2025 is not just a theory. They put it in writing. There are copies of it. Members of his previous administration wrote it. He is in there mentioned over 300 times. If you think he's got nothing to do with it, you are very misguided. He has everything to do with it. It is his wish list. It is his Christmas wish list of all the power he wants. Already reorganized the Supreme Court in his own image to give him everything he wants. He will never have to suffer any consequence for any of the crimes he has committed if he wins. And he will, again, strike with impunity against anyone he feels in any given moment that he doesn't like. Forget about considering him an enemy. If he just decides he doesn't like something you've posted, imagine a world where you're on Facebook and you're having a bad day and you're just bitching about your boss. But he likes your boss, or he likes your boss's industry, and you've just annoyed him because you annoyed somebody he likes. He can remotely, he can wipe you out. He can take your job. He can take your livelihood. He can take your home. He can come up with any kind of lie.
I honestly don't think it's hyperbole. I don't think it's hyperbole. Living where I live, I can see roving trucks full of people hunting down queer people, hunting down pagans and witches, hunting down people with brown skin, educated, liberal. I mean, I've got a target on me living where I live. I am an educated, liberal, queer female witch. I am everything they hate.
Yep, me too.
You know,
this show will go away.
They'll come for me.
Other shows like this will go away. There's tons and tons of wonderful podcasts that will suddenly disappear. And suddenly all of your podcasters will disappear because every single one of us, and, you know, I don't want to mention names because I love fellow podcasters and fellow people who write and are in the business and who I care about. Because I am not just a podcaster, I'm also a fan. And I don't want to see all of these people be targets or be hurt for whatever reason. But, I mean, there's people who have been on the show, people who have their own shows now. I mean, we have to protect each other. I'm scared for them. Some of them are much younger than I am. Some of them are my age. I mean, I have to – this is a community. We always said we wanted a community. Well, build up the community, goddammit. And stop bullshitting around. You know, take the election seriously. Take it seriously. Vote for you. I'm not asking you to be in love with her. I'm not asking you to be in love with anybody. I'm not even asking if you know that much about her. What you know about him is enough to scare anybody. That's it. That should be enough to scare you. You don't need to know more than that. So, beloved, as we go, I just want to tell you, I love you. I want you to stay strong. I want you to stay tough. The only thing I want you to do for my birthday is to get out there and vote. That's it. Just vote. Vote
and
for her.
educate yourself on your ballot initiatives. Educate yourself on your state ballot initiatives, because those matter too. There are usually, like, we have a really good, unbiased website through the University of Arkansas that clearly explains this is what a vote for this amendment means, this is what a vote against this means. Educate yourself on your ballot initiatives, because those matter too. You know, don't just worry about the top of the ticket. Worry about the local stuff. Worry about who's running for school board. Worry about worry about ballot initiatives.
Go blue. Vote blue.
Yeah, go blue. Go blue.
Go blue.
That's right.
We're gonna wrap it up here because I got to go party. My birthday's on Sunday, and I got shit to do. I'll be back next week with 15 and a whole bunch of other shit. And I love y'all. And Deborah Burris, you are my ride or die. I love you.
You betcha. If anybody's looking for me,
That's
you know where to find me. So. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Tell them where to find you. Tell them where to find you, babe. Tell them where to find you.
Okay, well, I'm going to be next month, November 15th, 16th, and 17th, Conway, Arkansas, Enchanted Metaphysics and Mystics Market. I'm teaching the class. I'm vending. Then the following weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be at KC Metaphysical in North Kansas City. You can find me on the Facebook of Faces at Deborah Burris, Teacher, Author, Witch, or Stories of the Bones, and Stories of the Bones. Follow me both places. On TikTok and Instagram, I'm Doc Firewoman, like the song by The Cult. And hunt me up. I'd love to visit with you. And, come up to me if you're at an event. Come up and say hey.
YouTube.
And, of course, Mystic South next year. Woohoo!
Yeah, we're already booked for that. You can also find Deborah Burris on the YouTube, the Tube of You.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, Diary.
I got to keep reminding her.
Sorry, I always forget about that one.
I don't know why she forgets, but she does.
Well, I've got if you find me on Instagram, there's a link tree. You can get to all the other things from there.
That's right. So go follow Deborah Burris on all the things. Buy the books. There's a second book coming. Talk about the book real quick.
Yeah,
please.
second book will be out in 2026.
Yay! Buy the first book, Weather Magic. Don't forget about Weather Magic. The first book, phenomenal, out from Llewellyn. Go get that book. Do the things, all the things. It's amazing.
Yes.
It's
Thank
amazing.
you for letting me come share your birthday with you.
I wouldn't share it with anybody else because you know I love you.
I love you.
Talk to you soon, my friend.
Okay.
Everybody
all
have
right.
a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Y'all behave yourselves or name it after me. One of the two. Love you guys.
Be good.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Right on. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, my God. Bye.